Before you decide what to grow in your garden, you will need to understand your climate. In this video, we'll cover some tools and tips on figuring this out. Hello and welcome to another LifeOnOurHomestead.com gardening video. My name is John, and if this is your first time here and want to learn how to grow a successful garden, start now by subscribing and clicking the bell icon so you don't miss anything. The first step in planting a vegetable garden is understanding your climate. In later videos, we'll look at what makes your garden unique with your microclimate. But first, let's start at researching what your hardiness zone is. To find your hardiness zone, go to the USDA website and enter your zip code. The link for the website is in the show's description below. Remember this number. It will be used later when you decide what plants to grow in the garden. Mine in Utah is a 6B. When you look at plants at the nursery, you will see a hardiness zone listed on the tag. This is more important for perennial plants that come back every year versus annual plants that you have to plant annually. Most vegetables are annual, but some vegetables are perennial, like asparagus or rhubarb. If your climate is too cold in the winter, these plants will die off and not survive. So this number is important in plant selection for perennials or plants that come back every year. Next, you will need to know your last frost date and your first frost date. These days are the average over time when in your area it saw its last freeze in the spring and the first frost in the fall. The best place to get this information is from the Farmer's Almanac website. Enter in your information and it will return some locations close to you. Note these 2 days. Also note the number of days between these 2 days. That is your average growing season. Your growing season is important because that's how many days you have to bring your plants to harvest. For my location in Utah, my last spring frost is May 7th, and my first fall frost is October 8th, making my growing season 153 days. When looking at this information, also note the probability and the location of the climate station. If the probability is low, like mine 50%, you need to hedge your bets on when your last frost is. Also, is the reporting station close to you, and does it have similar topography? If not, the information will be less reliable. This is why creating our own gardening journal is important to gain this information for ourselves. These numbers are important in knowing what to plant and when to plant. For example, watermelon takes 80 to 90 days of a growing season. If you do not have that many days in your growing season, you'll need to start your seeds indoors or by transplants to gain back some growing time in the garden. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments below. I can try and get you answers, and your question may be featured in an upcoming Q&A video. So now let's put these dates into our calendar to help us plan. As you can see here, I like to use the Google Calendar because it's free, and you can create a calendar specific to your garden. You can create appointments for key dates, then this will layer with other calendars such as your work or family calendars if you're already using Google Calendar. Since my last frost with 50% probability is May 7th, I can mark this as my 0 week or last spring frost week. Any week before that is a negative week counting down to the last frost, and anything after this week is a positive week counting up through the growing season. Based on where you live, this 0 week will vary, but everything we do in our videos here will be based on this week structure, so you can follow along in your garden. By counting weeks forwards or backwards, we can set dates for starting seeds indoors, sowing seeds outdoors, or knowing when it is safe to transplant. For example, tomatoes and peppers are warm season crops, so they will be planted 2 weeks after last known frost, which for me will be around Memorial Day weekend. If you want to learn more about how to grow a successful garden, start now by hitting the subscribe icon below so you don't miss anything. Thank you so much for watching. Now go enjoy your garden, and I will see you next time.